Welcome to the BTM Club Show, guys. Great to see you. Now, today we have one of the UK artists, Mr. MALCOM Joseph. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Barrie. How are you,
nice
sir?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Now, we're hoping we get through this incident-free because
it seems
to be a day of technological difficulties, but we persevere and we'll get there. So how have you been?
Been great, really good. Shame the weather here is gone. Back to
Where are you? Are you in London?
No, I'm in Cornwall.
Okay. Does the sun ever shine there?
Yeah, it does. When it does, it's beautiful. When it doesn't, it's like the normal British summertime.
Right.
Rain, cloud, sun, rain, rain, wind, rain, sun, cloud. Usual thing. Yeah.
Okay. So for those who don't know, this gentleman is a drummer.
Bass player.
Bass player.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Right. Bass player. That's it. I wasn't looking at my notes. I apologize. Bass player. But you've had a history with name the artist's name.
Grace Jones.
That's right. So when did that start for you with Grace Jones?
With Grace, it started with Grace late 2007.
Okay.
And I've been playing and performing with her ever since.
How did that come about? Was it an audition process? Was it a what?
Well, funny enough, it was a stumbling process, actually.
The best jobs usually are.
Yeah.
As you see, you started off being a drummer. Okay. So it can only get better from there.
Right. I must take it up a bit more, I think, my drums. Yeah. Funny enough, it was from a really old friend of mine called Ivor Guest. And we met on, we haven't seen each other for at least 15 years prior to that.
Right.
We got in touch with each other on MySpace. And I thought, let me go check him on MySpace and say hello. And
now, can I just stop you there? MySpace. This is real old people's chat, you know.
Oh, no.
These youngsters won't even know what
MySpace is. Yeah.
It was great when it started, and then it just disappeared into the ether. But hey.
Yeah, I think Facebook took over and just took over the whole system.
Yeah.
And, so I got in touch with Ivor. Long time no see. How are you? And in not so many words, he said, "Where have you been?" And I said, "Oh well, you know, I ran a studio in London, Stoke Newington, for a number of years. So I've been stuck in there recording, producing, and being a partner through a recording rehearsal rooms in
right."
And then one thing led to another, and I said to him, "Well, on your MySpace, I see you got Grace Jones on one of your friends." And I said, "Is she still alive?" You know, because
we'll edit that bit.
No, at the time, never heard anything from Grace for the last 20 years prior to that. So, and he said, "Yes, funny enough, I've just produced her latest album, Hurricane. And we're just about to release it." He goes, "When are you coming back down to London?" I said, "I'll be down soon." He goes, "Great, we should have a meeting." Had a meeting, quite a kind of like emotional one because we hadn't seen each other and friends have gone and passed since then. And he said to me, like, you know, so I had seen you got a studio. Grace has got this album coming out and she's got her first show performing at the Meltdown Festival, which is at the Festival Hall in London, which was curated by Massive Attack. This is another group that I played for.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and one thing led to another. He said, "Do you fancy the job?" I said, "I'll give it a go," thinking it's only going to be a couple of dates. 12 years later, I'm still there. Yeah.
Wow. See, that's really a case of who you know.
Yeah, and a case of the right time, the right place at the right time. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. As they always say, there's no such thing as good luck. It's always when preparation meets opportunity. You were prepared and you were ready.
I was ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah, when the opportunity arose, you know, you were able to snap it up, which is fantastic. So when did music start for you, your musical journey?
Musical journey was from school. Kind of had a little school band, played in a little rock band with my friends at school. You know, we had these aspirations of being rock stars and performers and getting on the big stage. And after I left school, or during the point of leaving school, I used to go to my local youth club called the Pedro Club. And the youth leader there took us to the basement and showed us this huge pile, which was covered in a huge tarpaulin. And he said, like, you know, here you go, have a go in there, have a look under that and see what you can do. And we pulled it back, and it was drum kit, bass amp, guitar amp, keyboard.
See, I knew drums came in there somewhere. Go on.
Yeah. And I thought, oh, I want to be a drummer. Yeah. So I started taking up bass, and I started playing bass quite a bit. Years went by, still playing. Met a couple of really good friends who I grew up with, and we decided, you know what, let's have a go at it and try writing songs and putting stuff together and rehearsing. And a couple of years of doing that, we formed a band called Seventh Heaven, and from Clapton Park Estate in Hackney. And it was history from there. We just progressed from there.
I have to say, a lot of talent seem to have come from that spot in London, Hackney. A lot of musicians, actors, actresses, a lot of talent seem to have come from Hackney area.
Yeah, that's right. It's as you see on the EP, I've got Orphy Robinson and Cleveland Watkiss on the EP.
Who we'll get to later.
And they're Hackney boys as well.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's it. That's how it started. And from then on, I just progressed and kind of worked with different artists after the band Seventh Heaven finished. I went off and I met Nana Cherry, and I met a few other people through there and started working with them.
So was it always music for you, or did you have other jobs before that?
Yeah, it was always music, but to survive, you know, you had to do other things. You had to work different jobs, you know. But music was always in the dream, you know.
Yeah.
It's already set in the dream. But
you already had that as your vocation, what you were heading
that's
to.
where I want to be, yeah. And anything, you know, to keep yourself alive, as anyone would say, every musician would know, you'd have to do anything to keep yourself alive. Still got to pay your rent, still got to eat, still got to live.
Absolutely.
Until the time comes where you can just say, "Wait, I don't have to do that anymore.
I can actually make a living from this.
I can do a living, make a living out of this."
So how was that received by your family, your parents? Was it encouraged? Was it? I think that laughter says it all.
Well, my dad had aspirations. He wanted me to be in the GPO, be a British telecom engineer back then, you know.
Okay.
Mum was always saying, "Go get yourself a decent job." You know, musicians' world is not going to be good to you. And then eventually they saw the passion in me and how I loved it, and they became to support it, and they were all behind me with it. Yeah.
Because I think that makes a difference. And as we can speak candidly, as you well know, a lot of Black parents are not very supportive or encouraging of things going into the arts.
Oh, no. They want their kids to be like, you know, totally settled down, full-time job, get your pension, do the whole bit.
Yeah.
You know, raise a family, you know, be at the same job for the next 30 years. That's it. That's what they want.
As they were, but you know, as you say, as the generations go on, different opportunities arise. So, you know, you don't necessarily handle life in the same way. Yeah,
you have to try and convince them this is what you want to do. There is a life out there to be taken and a career move that could be made, and you can live a decent life and try to make a living, you know.
Well, you mentioned my boy Cleveland Watkiss and Orphy, of course. And as you said, Hackney boys. Did you know each other back then, or was your association recent?
Well, we've known of each other back from a long time.
Right.
But we've never thought that the paths would cross. And thankful to Aaron Cassidy Stewart, he kind of linked it up. And he was even more shocked to find out that we were all from Hackney as well.
Yeah, and it took a guy from America to bring all you guys together.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah. You know,
he's a bit of a genius, is our Aaron, isn't he? He's a bit of a genius. He really is the nucleus and the cohesive element in bringing everybody together.
Instigator, I call it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And
so tell me about the project.
Oh, the project was amazing, really. I sort of been kind of wanting to put out some new music. I hadn't done anything music-wise since 2005 was my last release of...
Right, so obviously that was before your time with Grace Jones, and that would have occupied your time, I take it.
Yes, it did, and it was a good move. Had an album out, did all right. It was called MALCOM JOSEPH and the Unquiet Peace. Did really well. And then I sort of got back into the studio and started writing, but never put the placement together, never put the package together again. So I was always writing songs and putting them aside. Occasionally there was a couple released, but just kind of on your own back and nothing else really.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just focused on, then Grace came along and then the studio came along, and they were the two focus points. And I put my own musical abilities behind as far as writing.
So were you ever thinking, yes, I want to do another music project of my own?
Yes.
You were always thinking.
I was always thinking, right, you know, friends have always gone, look, it's about time, Malc, you know, come on, try and get something out, you know, put it together, you know. And I thought, you know what, that's it. And I kind of accumulated a few songs that I was going to have for the album. And met Aaron, and I said, look, this is what I've got. This is an EP. I'd love to have this person, that person on. And then I just sort of got on with it from there. And stuff.
Right. So the timing, obviously, after COVID, now this project is developed. So were you doing a lot of the work during the quiet time in COVID when there was nothing else happening? You were able to develop most of the project then?
Yes, it was like COVID it's a sad time, but it was a fortunate time to catch musicians who are not going on tours and out and about doing everything. So you could just grab them and say, look, you know, hello, man, you know, I've just got this little thing going. What, you up for it? Send it. And like people go, yeah, of course, you know, definitely like to have a go at it. And that's how it progressed. And
as you say, you know, it was a sad time, but with technology and how music is made now, you don't even have to be in the studio together. And the one common denominator that I've discovered with all of the artists that I've spoken to, and probably the impetus for this series, because it was about, we're using you guys' music to get us through the lockdown, right? So we're putting you guys on and we're getting a glass of wine or a glass of champagne and things are good. You know, I'm at home and I'm grooving to my tunes. And you actually thought, let's find out how they are actually coping with lockdown, and everyone's saying, you know, we were just writing, we were just
kind of putting stuff together. You know, the tours have been blown out of the water. Everyone had their tours thrown out of the water and things like that. And it's like, what am I going to do? I'm going to sit there twiddling my thumbs. I'm going to utilize what I'm good at, and sort of got into the whole frame of mind. Started thinking in the frame of mind when I put my first album together. How to kind of group people together, who to look for, who to talk to about it. And that's how it was. And it was great.
Because it's a whole process to actually get something like this together. Any project like that, it's a process. It's not done overnight. And the thing is, people out there, they only ever see the finished product.
That's right.
Which is kind of that iceberg effect. They see this little bit of the iceberg above the water. They don't see this much work that's gone, you know, months and years prior, the organization, the arranging. So it's quite an undertaking.
It was. And, you know, thank goodness for internet. You know, that's been a saving grace for everybody, I think.
When it works, of course.
Yeah. You know, to keep the creative juices flowing and getting projects off the ground and new ventures off the ground, it's been perfect.
Yeah. So what made you want to get together with Cleve, Watkiss and Orphy? Because I call Cleveland, well, I still call him Cleve, actually.
Yeah,
but, right. The professional name is Cleveland Watkiss, of course.
Yes.
But I call him the vocal acrobat, because that man does things with his voice that are just phenomenal.
I know, incredible. So when I had this track, you know, Freedom, Just Let It Be, the first person I came to mind, I was talking to Aaron. I was, this would be Cleveland would just smash this, you know. This is right up his street. And Orphy, I can imagine Orphy doing his vibes on it as well. And the dream came true. They both went on it. And I sent it off to Cleveland, sent it off to Orphy first of all. And Orphy just smashed it with his vibes all over it. And then I sent a kind of, you know, a whole production of it, you know, the whole kind of how it's going to appear, what the arrangement is, to Cleveland. And literally, Cleveland just smashed it in the first 2 days. And it was just like, wow, we both went, wow, this is amazing, you know.
Yeah. You've frozen.
Oh, no, not again.
Okay, you're back to it now.
Oh, sorry about that, folks.
Yeah, you see, as we were saying earlier, technology is wonderful when it works.
Well, the fortunate thing about this is that we didn't have to do this live.
Yeah.
To do any kind of playing or anything like that, you know.
Absolutely. But so it's great that you all were able to record separate places through COVID when everything shut down and locked down, and you're just sending bits back and forth to each other.
That's right. And it was like, you know, it's a different kind of vibe. It was a different sort of patience. You know, my philosophy is that I've created a platform. Here's a template. See you later. Go and do what you need to do, because I know what you are and who you are.
And how you're capable of.
Capable of. And I left them to it.
And I mean, yes, technology is great that you can record that way, but how does it compare to the energy of being in the studio with each other?
The energy in the studio is a totally different format. I think, you know, that format kind of dissolved a little bit.
Okay.
COVID. You know, a lot of people were working online a lot before the COVID scenario. That was an approach that people could complete quite quickly. Then rather going into a studio, spending 4 or 5 days working on a track, costing loads of money, where you can do this for free.
Yeah.
But I do miss the studio. Where I am at the moment, there's a studio here. So when the time comes and everyone's free to run around and stuff, we can work here, which is great.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think, yes, technology is great that you can record in different places, but there's something about, you know, when you're in it together in the same space.
Oh, yeah, that's a different ball game. You know, that is, it's, you know, the creativity kind of blooms even further when you're all sat in the same room.
You're bouncing literally off of each other.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, having a break, have some lunch together, and then we start again.
Come back, listen. Yeah, I missed that. Yeah. But again, it was like a different sort of patience that you had with people you're working with online. You know, you still bounce the ideas and you still have the Zoom conversations, but it's not the same that you can come, let's go out, get some lunch, let's go and do this, let's go and do that. Let's go see a show tonight, then, you know, back in the studio tomorrow, you know. Yeah.
But I guess it's the evolution of times, isn't it? And how things have changed.
Yeah, you know, the old world's gone, you know.
Yeah, gone. Absolutely. So ROBOTRONICS.
Yes.
How did you come up with that name?
It was a title that someone kind of put in conversation a while back, a long time back. And I thought, well, I like that title, ROBOTRONICS. Quite monotonous, always doing the same thing over and over again. And then I thought, right, I just literally put the title on a template and then I wrote to it. And I just kind of started piecing together an arrangement of a bass.
And you created the ROBOTRONICS when?
It happened maybe January, March, maybe near enough the beginning of the winter last year.
Okay. And you said you'd written songs, been writing songs, and had, you know, albums, EPs, singles from 2005. This new compilation, is it from old songs as well, or is it all specifically written for this project?
There are a couple of old demos that I've had sitting there that I've always kind of looked upon and thought, yeah, you're going to be a nice little gold mine over there. I'm just going to keep you there till the right time.
In the right time.
And then pull them out. And once I pulled out, a couple of tunes have been written freshly. Like ROBOTRONICS was kind of written pretty fresh, you know, right from the start. Fall In is an old track, which old demo.
Right.
You know, and Freedom was an old demo, which you wouldn't believe when you heard it. It's a completely different. And I kind of rehashed it and redid it. You know, the same sort of feel, but nicer again, you know.
So it came out on the 30th of July.
Yeah.
And it's available on all platforms?
All platforms, from DistroKid to Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, yeah. And it's kind of going on each one as well.
Any website, in specifically your website or anywhere that it's available, or have you just stuck with the platforms?
Well, it's available. If you go to DistroKid, you'll find it on DistroKid. Okay. So it'll be on a page in DistroKid. That's where you'll find it. And apart from me, I'm on Instagram, Malcolm Joseph Music, and I'm the same again on Facebook, Malcolm Joseph Music. So you'll see all the links and different ideas and interviews and things like that.
Have you heard that, people? Malcolm Joseph on Facebook and all social media platforms. And we thank you for that, because you know those people who change their name and then you can't find them? They've got a special name for... And they said, why didn't you send me a friend request? I've been looking for you for 3 weeks. I can't find you. Oh, yeah, because my name's not Malcolm Joseph. It's WizKid something, Wizzy, whatever. How am I
no.
You know.
No. You're definitely guaranteed you'll find me.
We will find you as Malcolm Joseph. And we can find all the directions and all the platforms where to get Robotronics.
Yeah, Malcolm Joseph Music, Facebook. Yeah, you'll find me on that, and Malcolm Joseph on Facebook as well.
And what can we expect from the single? What's the vibe? What's the energy?
The energy, it's very eclectic. It's got a nice, it's a nice trio of lovely, brilliant songs and performers and singers and players. Yeah, it's a bit of a jazz vibe, a bit of a real funk vibe. A nice mellow soul kind of vibe to it. Yeah, just check it out. It's a really good eclectic.
Oh, we will absolutely check it out. But, you know, you've got, what should we say? You have got the jazz warriors. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I've got the masters of jazz, British jazz.
The masters who are UK musical royalty.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I call them.
They are.
That's what I call them.
They are. They're, they're the foundation of the black music industry here. Yeah. As far as the longevity and what they've kind of given back as well. So
I mean, what an amazing musician Orphy is, just phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
And you know what makes Cleveland Watkiss so great is that he's traveled the journey from reggae to, he's done it all.
All of it, everything. Right from the kind of technical, sophisticated drum and bass.
Yeah.
The whole 9 yards. He's done it all.
He's done it all, so...
I did work with his brother, Trevor. I don't know if you know his brother, Trevor, Cleveland's brother.
No, haven't had the pleasure.
Trevor Watkiss, another influential jazz pianist, has been around a long time. Right. We worked together a few years back on a tour with... a dance troupe, all black dance troupe.
Okay.
And, we toured like Europe and stuff, and played all these amazing venues with them, and watching these amazing dancers perform every night. It's quite incredible. Right.
Well, we are in for a treat, is what you're telling us with Robotronics.
Oh yes, you're gonna love it.
Can't wait. So it's already out. Came out on the 30th of July. And available on all platforms. So check him out, guys. Malcolm Joseph on all social media platforms. And he's using his real name, so he's easy to find. Okay, no excuses. Yeah. No excuses not to find him and not to purchase his project.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, look out. It's great. You're going to enjoy it. And,
I think I will, because as I said, the lineup is, a lineup of heavyweights. So they've always come correct. Yeah, and I feel that will change with this. So.
Yeah. And looking forward to getting the album together, which will come out in 2022. So
okay, that's already in the process, is it?
That's already in the process as we're talking. Yeah.
Okay. And how many tracks will you have on the album?
Well, we're sort of looking about 10 to 11. I want to get about an hour, under an hour's worth of music. Don't want to bore everybody with such brilliant music. So they're thinking they want more, I'll just start again and put it on replay.
Yes, I'm old school, so I like those albums that you can just put on and let play right through. You don't have to be skipping the tracks all the time.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one.
Exactly, not sure.
You're going to put the album on and you're going to let it turn over each time. You're just going to keep it playing.
Yeah, great. Well, all the best with the project.
Thanks, Barry. And it's always a pleasure to meet you too.
Likewise, fly with it.
Oh yeah, totally.
Boys, you're fantastic. So I'm sure it will just be amazing. Yeah. So you've got the BTM Club behind you.
Thank you, BTM.
And our watchers and listeners. So Malcolm Joseph, guys, you heard it here first. Take care. Thank you for talking to us and all the best.
Yeah, thank you, Barry. See you
You're welcome.
again soon. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.